We're live. I'm gonna start. So, hello everyone. I'm so happy to welcome Miss Mendez here for being here today. She has years of experience working with international students and F1 visa advising at the community college level, and she is super passionate about student success. So, Miss Mendez, thank you for being here with us today. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Barbara, and I used to work with F1 visa students and refugee students and just every kind of international student, undocumented, every kind of international student in Phoenix, Arizona many years ago. So I'm used to working with that population. And now I work with traditional American students, I guess, but I do remember working with that other population. So with working with international F1 visa students at the community college level, that student population usually wanted to go to the university, but for some reason were not able to get into the university because of either financial or they didn't, I don't know why they couldn't get into the university. So they would start at the community college level. So they still needed to go through the F1 visa student process and do the same thing that they needed to for the university, but at the community college, the tuition is a little lower, and the standard to get into the community college is not as high as a university. So, and there's community colleges usually around universities, because even for American students who cannot get into the university will go to community college first, because the tuition, it costs less to go there. The classroom sizes are smaller. And it's just like a smaller, friendlier campus because it's just smaller. But the the teaching and everything is the same. Oh, my throat. Hold on. So oh, my throat's funny. So sorry.
It's the weather. It's so hot outside. Everyone is coughing.
No, it's just funny. I had coffee, but it just got funny on me. So so even for American students who cannot get into the university or they can't afford the university, they'll go to community college first. So international students do the same thing. So so international students will get their F1 visa at the community college, and then they transfer to the university. And the university is happy to get F1 visa students because then the visa's already established. They just transfer into the university. And the student just has to make sure that the visa is up to date and in good standing. And so the community college doesn't want the student to leave, but usually that's what the student is there for. They go to the community college just to get in the United States, and then they leave to go to the university. So the international students kind of working two ways, with the community college and also with the university. So I mean, that's pretty much what I remember helping students do, is working with both institutions. But the main thing is it is easier to get into a community college than it is at the university. But getting the visa doesn't change. It's still the same standard to get into the United States, from what I remember. Do you have any questions?
I have a question. Yes. What inspired you to work with international students, especially in the community college space?
Well, I lived in France for 8 years. So I'm born and raised in the United States. So I'm an American citizen, but I'm also Latina, Mexican American. So I'm third generation, meaning my family is from Mexico. But can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So it went weird. So my family is born in like we're from United States, but like we never like we're from Mexico, but when the United States purchased parts of Mexico, we became Americans by that purchase of that part of the land. So we still have family in Mexico because that they were on the part of the land that stayed in Mexico when we were on part of the world that stayed United States. Um so I grew up like going back and forth between Mexico and the United States. So I'm pretty much bicultural, like Mexican and American. Um and then so I grew up going back and forth between Arizona and Mexico, which are right next door to each other. Um, and then when I got older and went to university, I ended up going to France. And then I got I got tired of all of the discrimination in my own country here in the United States. Uh, it's nothing has changed because right now it's really awkward in my country with the our presidential leadership. So when I was younger, it was kind of like that. So I left the country and I liked France. I liked France because the French didn't know what I was. They didn't know if I was American, if I was Arab, if I was Italian, if I was French, if I was um, Spanish from Spain, but they never thought I was American. So, and I speak Spanish. So it was fun to be in a different country and not be identified as anything. Like, so I loved being in Europe and being like anything I wanted to be. Um, and I think that was fun to just be fluid in and just be like a citizen of the world and not really be labeled as American, as Mexican, as I don't know what young people think today, but it was just nice to be like fluid. I'm 55 years old, so this was back in the 90s before like internet was really big. So your world is different today, but back then it was, we had to write paper phone numbers and stuff to keep in like write letters to people. um, but anyway, I ended up living in France and working in France. And once I was in France, I that's when I met international people, like people from all over the world. And just again meeting people from everywhere and understanding how people lived other places. So when I was back in my country, and I became a director of international student life at a community college, I knew I knew what it was like to be in a foreign country, to be scared, to be lost, to not know the language, because I didn't speak fluent French when I lived there. I spoke Spanish, but not French. I learned the language, but um, I know what it's like to not belong, to not understand the rules, the metric system. Like you all remember how I mixed up the date for this meeting,
Yes.
the metric system, the days, the time. Do you do 24-hour time?
Yeah. No, 12 hours.
Okay, so the French do 24-hour time. So, just do you know how things change country to country? So I know it can be hard when you transition to a different country. So working with international students was a lot of fun because I know what it's like. And I was 8 years in France to learn how weird it can be in a different place. Um, And then just being around, young people, and they're transitioning and discovering new places. And usually it's just a lot of fun. So that's why I chose to work with international students, because I was an international student. I mean, I was living there, but yeah.
So, with that, a lot of international students are unfamiliar with the idea of starting at a community college. Can you explain how that pathway works for students who cannot meet university requirements right away?
Um, sure. I worked at a place called the Maricopa Community Colleges in Phoenix, Arizona. There's 10 community colleges there, but the community colleges are in any place in the United States. They're usually around big universities. They're around big universities because American students who can't get into the universities are going to go to these community colleges, and they're paid by taxpayer money. So um, I'll put the one example in the chat of Mesa Community College um, for F1 visa students, and it really is just how you apply and who can get in. It's really the same process as getting into a university, but they are it's just friendlier. And basically, the international students pay more money than a traditional American student. So they really want international students because you pay more. So they want you to go there for the money. Unfortunately, we're based on capitalism in my country. So it's about that. I hate to say that. Um, and so that's just but it's friendlier. And then, of course, the college wants to say, "Oh, yes, we have, you know, 5 students from Bangladesh. We have a variety of students, international." So that's one way of. I mean, it's one thing to consider if you can't get into a university. Look at the community colleges around the university you're interested in, and then you transfer, and then that's all. I mean, that's how we do it. That's what I worked with international. I was helping the students transfer to universities from my college.
I think we have a question on the comment section. So, good morning, Barbara. How are you? So, do I need to apply to a community college simultaneously to start classes in the same fall? And how does the admission procedure work for a community college? Is it different than other college application?
If you're an F1 visa student, you just need to get that visa approved and accepted. Usually you need to be enrolled in 12 credits or 4 classes. Full time. You need to be a full-time student. Like, that is your job. Your job is going to school. And you need to have a major. Like, you need to have something you're studying for. You need to have proof of financial stability. You need to have proof that you're only coming to the United States for studying. Um, you need to tell them that you're there to get a degree from the community college and you're going to finish at the community college. You don't want to tell them that you're going to transfer and leave them. You don't want to tell them that you're going to go away to the university. You need to make them believe you're going to get the degree from them, because the community college is only 2 years. It's a 2-year degree. But then you can change your mind and say, "Oh, I want to go to a university." And then you're applying at the university on the side. You don't tell the community college you're going to go away. Now, I did that with my students because they trusted me and I knew what they were doing. So I would help them. But you have the right, once you're in the country with that F1 visa, you have the right to change your mind and say, oh, I want a bachelor's degree. I want to go and get a bachelor's degree. So there's ways to work it once you're in the country with that visa. And then you work with the university to say, I want to shift my status with my visa for a bachelor's degree in your program. But the point is just getting your foot in the door in the United States with an F1 visa and then shifting the status with it. But the university, they'll take you. They don't want to deal with the visa. They'll let the community college deal with it. Right? They want the community college to deal with all the red tape and all of the getting you approved. Once you're here, they're like, great, we'll take you. We want your money. We'll take, so that's what I saw going on. But the community college is just smaller and friendlier. But you need a major, and you need to say, I'm here to get a degree from your college. And then you have to say things like, I'm going to go back to my country and I'm going to use my degree and help my community with this degree, whatever it is. This is how I plan to use my skills from this degree back in my country. If you tell them, oh, I want to stay in the United States forever, that's when they'll kind of say, well, no, like they want, I don't know why there's weirdness about that. So you have to just say you're here, you're a visitor, you're a guest, you're here to get a skill set and then go back to your country and use your skill set where you're back to where like back in your community to help wherever you're going back to. If you say, I love the United States, I want to live and work there, that's when they'll start declining because it's just weird like that. It's a guest visa. So you're a guest visiting. So you want to say you're going to go back and use your skill set back where you're coming from. I don't know if you've heard that before.
Is the community college application is different than any other college application?
I think if you look at, I think they might ask the same information. Basic information.
Like in the college application, we use the Common App for the essays. We submit our essays, LMRs.
So I think the community college I don't know if they ask for the essay, but if you have one, that's great. If you look at the Mesa Community College application,
Mm-hmm.
they have an international education transfer flyer where it's like do 2 years with them and then a 2-year transfer to the university nearby. Did you see that? You click on it?
Yeah, I'm there.
And then there's Arizona State University, University of Arizona. So they're going to help you go to the universities nearby them. So you do 2 years with them, and then you finish your bachelor's degree to the university. So there's programs to help you transfer. I mean, that's just one example. I don't know what nationwide what the other community colleges do, but and that's where I worked like many years ago. But I don't know where you want to go, in the States. I don't know what New Jersey has, what New York has, but they do have programs that start at the community college and then they help you move on to the university.
So for the students who are struggling financially, and you mentioned that community colleges are more affordable. So do the community colleges offer any kind of scholarships or financial aid for international students?
I think it depends on the college. Um, you can ask if they hire, if you could work on campus. As an F1 visa student, you're allowed to work on campus, and you can ask for um, an American Social Security number, and they'll issue you one so you can work. But you can only work on campus.
Yeah.
So that's one way to work on campus. But I know a lot of other F1 visa students who were working on the side, other shifty jobs, just doing stuff on their own, not legally, but they did it. Somebody's uncle's gas station or something. So people found jobs on their own. Scholarships, there weren't a lot of scholarships for F1 visa students because they assume you already have the money to be here. So it's not very nice, I think, but I wouldn't say there's a lot of scholarships for F1 visa students because they think you already have the money to be here.
You talked about hiring F1 visa students for on campus jobs, and we get these questions quite often. What kind of jobs are usually available there? Students ask us, what do we have to do there? Do we have to work on the front desk? Do we have to do the paperwork? What are the jobs that are usually available, and how does the process work?
Usually the career center on campus will have a job listing and they're the hourly jobs, just whatever's posted. And you're right, they're front desk, that whatever's posted on campus that's an hourly job. And I don't know what they are. You could see what departments they are. Like if you're a biology major, maybe the biology department needs some student help. Or if you're a history major, maybe the history department needs help. So you can, that you just have to see what's posted, like any place.
So, are there any risk involved in starting first at a community college, then transfer the service on a university?
Only if you get out of status, like if you are under 12 credits, you always have to be full-time 12 credits at all times. If you go under 12 credits, you just need to let the admissions registrar, you just need to let the people at the college know you're out of status and they'll work with you with adding another class, or they'll work on there's ways to help if you have to drop a class. Sometimes there aren't, but usually the students working with the college representatives, because sometimes if a student gets sick and they just can't complete a class, there's special rules to help. But there is a risk if you're caught off status.
Ms. Mendez, I was actually talking to Celestine the other day. I mentioned that I've finished my freshman, but I still don't understand about the sororities or fraternities, what they
Oh,
are, what they do. And she told me that you are still involved with sororities. So
oh yes.
I'd love to hear it from you. Could you please
So
explain what they are and what
so
a student can expect if they join one?
So we have student organizations or student clubs on campus, and sororities and fraternities are basically clubs that are all female. Sororities are all male or all for men. And they are called like sisterhoods or brotherhoods. And you join, but you can't just join, you pay to join, but you also have to go through a process. You can't just join, you have to go through a process, and you can get rejected. You can get rejected. For some, you can get rejected. For some, you just pay and you're in. But there's a lot of social activities and bonding that happens, and then you just make friends for life. Um, like we go on road trips together, and I don't know, in our country we call it like girls' night out. Like the girls go and do things together. Um, and for my group, it will start with like 6 girls start together, and it takes them like 5 or 6 weeks before they can join us. But for that 5 or 6 weeks, they're learning about the organization, memorizing things about our organization, but they're not in yet. So they go week by week by week, learning little by little by little about us. And then at the end, they're in. And then they're very happy that they're in. It's kind of silly, but then they're in for life. And so it's kind of like you work your way to get in. And I don't know. They started like in the 1800s. Mostly it started with men. Like it was groups of just men, and then the women started it later, in the 1800s and the 1900s, and then we still do it. So we're just, I don't know why the United States, why we do that, but we're um and being from out of state, like I'm from Arizona, but I did my university in Colorado. Being away from family was really hard. So having this group of women that I could um, depend on was really important for me. Like family to have like holidays with and birthdays with, to have to have like a little family away from home was very important. And so we grew up together, like during college. So they were like best friends that were guaranteed because we went through that process together.
What
That's
is, yeah.
mhm.
What is the process to get into one? I have to keep repeating, showing my interest to join one.
Yes. So in the fall, they'll have like informational meetings. So you go and you find out about them, and then they have different informational meetings, and then you decide which one you think you want to join, and then they'll invite you to keep coming to their meetings, and then they'll say, yes, we want you to continue with us, or they'll reject you and say, no, we don't want you to continue with us. It's horrible. um, and it's so horrible sometimes that we've had to separate by ethnicity. So there are traditional sororities that are mostly Anglo and white Caucasian. And like I'm in a Latina one where we're traditionally women of color. And then there's African American ones that are traditionally Black. And then there's Asian, I believe. And now there's LGBTQTA, gay, lesbian, so like we've had to separate by that because we know people want to be in a group that they can relate to. So I'm a part that's mostly Latina, from Latin America, Colombia, Mexico, South America, um, because we have a different experience. And we speak Spanish, and we're brown, hair, brown eyes. So our experience is different than the blonde, blue-eyed experience. So like you might be interested in a Latina because you could pass as Latina easily.
I don't speak Spanish.
I know you don't have to speak Spanish, but you look like us. So 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 you and we have women of color who join us who aren't Latina but are international. And they learn a little bit more about our culture, but anyone can join our group. Basically, it doesn't have to be Latina, but there are. Anyway, that's it. But it can be. It's awkward. Like you want to join a group, but then they might be like, "Well, we don't want you."
So rude.
And then you have to go through that process, but you're really happy when you get in. And then you're in for life. Like I'm still in it. I'm still involved. Like Celestine says.
So in my campus, I'm in Muslim Student Association. So
There,
we share our culture.
right.
We had an iftar party on the Ramadan. Do the sororities do anything for the campus
Yes.
like this?
They usually do like fundraisers, but it's usually in their sorority worlds. I don't know it. They're doing fundraisers and stuff. Haven't you seen the different Greek letters?
Yes.
Okay. So our letters are LTN, and that stands for Lambda Theta Nu. And we picked LTN because it stands for like Latina, LTN. So we picked letters that kind of represented like the culture LTN. And we decided to create our sorority because we didn't feel it represented women of color Latina. So we made one for our women of color Latina group. So we just made one. If there's not a Muslim Latina sorority at your campus, then you can create a Muslim Latina sorority.
Yeah.
Because it hasn't been done yet. If there's one that already exists somewhere in the nation, then you can contact that group and say, hey, can we make one of yours at my campus?
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. So for my organization, we existed at Chico State University in California, and I was at Colorado State University. So we went to California and brought that group to my campus in Colorado. So we just joined them, but we brought it to my campus. That's all. Like a franchise, but it's yeah, you join, and then some women will start the process like for the 5 or 6 weeks, and some don't finish. They'll be tired of it. Like they're tired. They don't want to do it. They'll be like, I don't care. Like I don't want to be part of your group, and they'll drop out. So not everyone they really want to. They start off, but not all of them will finish because it's kind of demanding sometimes.
I saw one of their fundraisers. They were smashing cakes on each other's face to get the money.
Yes.
It was fun.
It depends on what group it is. So, and yeah, they do scholarships for different groups and so forth. So, I don't know. It's a club.
That's a club.
I don't know if you have that do you have that in your country?
Not in Bangladesh now.
Yeah. But again, you have to go to their, it's horrible. Like, you want to join us? Well, maybe not. Like, we'll invite you for so long. And if we really like you, yeah, but maybe not. So then you go to another one. It's kind of like interviewing for a job.
Yeah.
So, but if you really want it, you might get in, then you might not.
Not.
But then when you're in, you're really happy. So I don't know. But there's usually a GPA requirement.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I think ours is a 2.75 GPA. Um, and you have to maintain a GPA, there's study hours,
Mm.
there's presentation, at least for my sorority, like you have to make sure you're dressing appropriately, that you're not doing stupid stuff on social media. Um, like you professional representation at all times.
Oh.
And if you don't, you'll get in trouble.
Mm.
And like we get really upset if someone's doing something really stupid on social media. Like somebody like me, like an old timer, will get in somebody's face because like they're representing us at all times. So yeah. So once you're in, like you're in like prison, like at least for my organization, because it's about professionalism and representing and doing really well for the rest of your life. So that's why we're so picky about getting in. And we're training the young women to like show up on time, be presentable, um, always be a leader. We're training them to be uh, ready for the work world, and leaders on campus. So it's not easy to get in. That's why in that 5 or 6 weeks, not all the girls who start, not all of them finish. And we realize, yeah, because you don't want to do the hard work. So,
I'm getting a lot of questions. We're gonna go
okay.
back to that.
Okay.
So can you explain the process of transferring to a 4-year college? What percentage of international students successfully transfer to universities after 2 years?
I don't know a percentage, but I do know that process of transferring is well, you got to make sure you are in touch with the university, that you've applied on time and met their deadlines, that I guess that you're passing your classes, that your visa is in good status. You're just following, I guess, the rules for the university while you're in the community college. Um, yeah, I think it's once you're in the US, I think I won't say it's easy, but once you have that visa and you're just, also whatever your major is for the university, that you're doing the right classes at the community college to prepare you for the university. So if you're like engineering major, that you're on track with the right math to get you into the right classes for the university, or a science major, you're in the right science classes so that you're ready to take the right science classes at the university.
I think he asked about the majors too in another comment. Are there specific courses or majors that align with transfer requirements at top universities like Columbia, Cornell, or any other university?
Um, yes, I suppose just making sure that, let's see, there's something called, and this is something you would go to the academic advisors at the community college or the regular university. It's called transferology, and it's to make sure that classes are transferring correctly to the university or the community college. I don't know if you've heard about it. Um, it's called transferology. So you just plug in the classes from the community college to see if it transfers right to the university. But you can ask any community college academic advisor, like, is my class going to transfer right? And that's their job. That's my job right now as an advisor, is I answer those questions like, will my class transfer right? Is it the right, am I taking the right class to go here or to go there? So students are asking those questions before they transfer. Um, I know it's so many moving parts, but this transferology is what we use to know that you're taking the right classes. Um, and it's free. It's free to sign up and log in, and it's kind of huge. That's what we use in the United States to see if classes are going to transfer correctly.
Do you offer any special guidance or mentorship for students aiming for transferring to a top university? What kind of transfer planning should I start in my first year? What mistakes should I avoid if I want to transfer to a top university?
Let's see. I guess before when you I guess when you're enrolling, you're asking that advisor, will these classes transfer to that university correctly? And they usually will say, yes, you're fine, or no, it's not. That's their job, is to give you that guidance. Or the university you want to go to, you're asking them, I'm taking these classes at the community college. Are they going to work at your university? And they're going to use that transferology to make sure that's happening. If you're doing everything by yourself, then it's your fault and your mistake. So you put those academic advisors on your team to make sure you're not doing anything wrong. Kind of like when you're booking, if you're booking a flight by yourself, fine. But if you book it through an agency or through the like if the airline person does it, it's their fault if they mess it up. But if you self book it, it's your fault. So I kind of book stuff through the agents because if they mess up, it's their fault. So in the United States, because we're private and it's all about money, if it's our fault, we'll take the heat. We call it an institutional error. And so you have a right as a student when we mess it up. So you can always say, and I always say that, well, I spelled it wrong, error. So whenever I'm working with students, I'll just say, oh, it was if the advisor told you wrong, then it's an institutional error. It's our fault. But that's why you're checking in with the colleges and the people there, because if you do it by yourself, it's your fault. Unless you're getting our help and you're putting us on your team. But I think as foreign students, if you're not used to customer service or people Americans are spoiled. So we have all these people helping the spoiled Americans. So the American students are going to blame somebody. So blame us. You just say, I didn't know, the advisor didn't tell me. It's probably true. So you want to always be working with somebody. And you clearly say, no one told me that. Why didn't anyone know? Why wasn't I instructed on this?
I have another question here. Do community colleges offer honors program or research opportunities for ambitious students?
Yes. There's definitely honors programs, same as university. Research, yes, you just gotta, again, work with the academic advisors. I think the research and internships would be more on the student than the universities. Universities are more research, way more research than the community college. The community college is a 2-year institution, and the research institutions are the universities. So, not as much. It's going to be the universities, but there are honors programs, honors classes, but the universities have more robust, stronger honors programs. But you have to ask.
I have another question in my phone. Can international students pursue internships or curricular practical training (CPT) during their time at the community college?
CPT, what is that?
Um, so, as international students, when we do our internships, we have to start our CPT, curricular practical training.
Oh, um, I think some community colleges have it depending on the program, like if it's a nursing program or something like that. They have it at the community college level, yes. Automotive or nursing, they do have that available, yes. And you'll see it on the websites when you're doing your research on the community college.
Um, I have a question. What one piece of advice you would give to an international student who's overwhelmed by the US college admission process? Because in Bangladesh, we don't have this holistic process. We just have to sit for an exam, written exam.
Hmm.
That's how we get to choose which universities I'm getting offered from. But in the USA, it's holistic process. So, do you have any advice for the
You
students?
pick a community college or a university that has the holistic services. Like, we have spoiled Americans and we pay for services. So my job is to help the student have a great experience. So you just come in saying, I'm not sure how any of this works, so help me.
Yeah.
And so you follow the steps, whatever's on the website, you apply and you do as much as you can on your side, but you are allowed to express, like, I'm not sure how any of this works. I'm not from your country. I don't know how any of this works. And then we will kind of help and navigate with orientation, and these are your next steps, and this is what we see foreign students do is you all just kind of stay quiet and go away and say thank you, um and and then you do everything on your own, and I think it is very stressful. um but we do offer, like, orientation, and we will help you, but we don't know if the student doesn't let us know that they need additional assistance. So um, if we ask you how are you doing, you tell us how you're doing. Oh, actually, not so well. I haven't slept very well. It's really noisy where I live. Or I don't know how to get to the bus stop, or I have no transportation, or I don't know how to get to the store. Um, you let us know what's really happening. Whereas I think sometimes it's scary, so students don't say anything, or they're embarrassed to say what's really going on, or Americans say everything because they're spoiled and they want to whine and tell us all their problems. And I think foreign students are just more humble about what's going on in their life. Um, but if you tell us, we'll come and help. So don't take on all the weight of that experience because it is scary to try to navigate our a different country, a different system.
So, if someone wanted to talk to you more about this or needed help, is there any way they can reach out to you or follow your work?
Yeah, I can give that to you then, but I won't put it in the chat because I might get if it's a live screen, I don't know if I can handle that craziness. But I'll give it to you and they can reach out to you if that's okay. Because I
Perfect.
can't even I won't even give out my work info because I'm like I can't represent my work right now because they don't like I'm not representing my work. I'm representing my old work.
Over, yeah.
Um because I don't work for international right now, but I would like to. But community college, that's I think that's a friendlier way to get into to do F1 visas and then transfer. If you can't like have a backup plan, do the big university entry, like do several things, try university and then have community college as backup or do both and see who's going to offer you more financially, like or what the tuition.
So you mentioned that you have another meeting after this,
I
and
do, yes.
it's not gonna be wise for me to take more of your time. So thank you so much, Miss Mendes, for sharing all your insights and experience. And it was honestly so helpful and inspiring. And thank you, everyone who joined us today.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay, you're going to close it out? I don't know how to close out.
I'm not very good at technology, so I have to check how to do that.
Bye.
Bye.